Welcome back to the apartment with Asif and
Baluch.
Man, how have you been?
Bro, you know what? Shit, let's get right into this.
Yeah, this episode
is my favorite.
good. This is a
enough
good
chit
episode.
chat. Yeah.
Enough bullshit. You don't need to know how I'm doing. I'm doing great. I'm on Wrecked. Okay, it's on TBS and it Tuesdays 10/9 Central.
Coming back for
season
scene 2.
We start shooting in March. I'm doing promos for it on Thursday up in Malibu.
There you go, man. And season 9 of Ridiculousness. We don't have an air date yet. I am one of the producers there.
The producer.
Actually,
He's the producer.
I feel like I'm at the low end of the producer list.
No. Don't ever say
just
that.
even quality-wise, because I feel like everyone at the office just like looks down on me. Anyways, that we'll save all this conversation for the end of the episode.
But before we go, we need to shout out our sponsor, Adidas. Adidas. For when you are grown up in America, but you want to look like an Eastern European criminal. Adidas. Please shop. Go check out adidas.com. Get yourself, the holidays are coming up. Buy yourself some stuff.
Use a promo code, the apartment.
The apartment. Promo code, the apartment. Check it out. You got to use the promo code, the apartment. It expires quickly, though. So you got to use it now. In the next 10, 20 minutes, it's going to expire. So get on it. Check out our Patreon, whatever. But we'll talk about all that afterwards. This episode is fantastic.
Yeah.
We got Philip Wang from Wong Food Productions. We've been, trying to get this guy on the podcast for so long. He's worked with so many people. Our previous guests, Megan Batoon and Ali Maki and a bunch more have worked with him.
Eric Ochoa.
Yeah, and their
Super
group.
Ego.
So
Timothy, the thing was, he was like the dream guest I wanted.
Yeah.
And we really get into it. He's this really cool guy that everyone wants to be like. You watch his videos and you're like, I want to be this guy's friend, and I just want him to mentor me for the rest of my life because he just has so much wisdom. I feel like
that. Low-key Ali wants to bang him. Anyways, here we go. This is the episode with Philip Wang. Enjoy. You guys are gonna love this one. It's a good one.
Yeah, stick around at the end. We'll explain everything afterwards.
Adidas. Who goes through a change.
Actually,
And you're like,
it really resonates.
I
with
can
me.
relate with this.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Mozart in the Jungle. I watched
Bro,
a couple episodes of that, and I was like, this show's really good.
What's it about?
Dude, I've watched. That's the only show
It's really cool.
that I've watched both seasons
It's
twice.
shot really well too.
It's shot. Okay, so
What's it?
the New York
Philharmonic. Jesus Christ.
Orchestra.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Is this the level of intellect that this podcast is? Okay,
Shit.
I'm just kidding.
Shots fired already. Damn. Okay. So
Yeah,
basically,
I like going to museums for pontings and
Pine
sculptures. Yeah.
all right. Well,
No, really though. What is it about?
No, get it out. Get
No,
it out.
no,
Get
no.
all your roasts out. Get this out of your system.
No, it's a guy who's like
So they're struggling, and then they're like, "Oh, we're gonna bring in a new maestro," and they bring in this Mexican maestro, the
Gael
guy,
Garcia Bernal. He's like a really
and he's like this
accomplished actor.
Okay.
like visionary young composer maestro, and he like just brings life into it. So that's basically
That's so niche. Like
Yeah.
about a maestro for an orchestra.
yeah.
Like nobody. What percentage of people can even
They make
afford
it
to
so-
go?
Yeah.
But they make it so good.
It's really good.
Because it's a peek. It's like a peek into a world that you'd never get to be in.
And it's like just like really like his acting quirky, brilliant.
I mean, to his credit, he's a phenomenal.
Yeah,
actor.
he won a Golden Globe for like best actor in a comedy musical or whatever.
I think there's maybe part of it is like people are. What used to give us a peek into like another world was the cops, like dramas and law and medicine, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, we're good with that.
Yeah.
What else is out there? There's a shitload of jobs,
Yeah.
right, that are unique and dramatic
And I think a lot of it was also they were saying that now because of like binge watching, you can the way they broke down how they do their shows, their seasons. They were like, don't give us because I came in with an idea that was like half-hour comedy in general, so you could technically watch episodes out of order and it doesn't matter. Like if you watch 30 Rock or Workaholic, it doesn't matter. You can watch episode from a season 3 and it doesn't matter.
Right.
They were like, we specifically want to do shit and it works best with these niche things if it plays like a movie, like a 5-hour movie that's cut up into half hours.
I've been dreaming of a day when we could get to that point where, because it's like some things don't need to be 20 episodes long a season.
No.
Some things don't even need to go past the 5th season.
No.
Almost like kind of how like manga, like you just have, like the show's done.
Yeah.
Like let's not do it.
It's like how British like BBC shows will be like the original Office was like 2 seasons
Exactly.
and the special and then like we're done.
A lot of
British had it all along.
Key and Peele did it well. They're like 3 seasons.
Bye.
Yeah.
And then that's all we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Not to self-promote, and it's not even my thing, but I love Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They were like,
I was like, okay, yeah.
You know, like, this guy has a problem. Yeah.
I don't realize how like someone sent me this, so it's like to my defense, someone sent me this sticker. I didn't purchase it, but anyway, they're like 3 books, 3 seasons.
Yeah.
That's it. You
Yeah,
know?
and then the movie was so great. Like it really just picked up on all the folklore. Oh no, oh no. Oh,
you know,
don't sleep on my boy M. Night Shyamalan. He's ruining everything out here. Yeah.
I interned at Nick for like a semester when I came out to LA because an internship with Nickelodeon, and no one was, and that's when I discovered Avatar.
Yeah,
and they were like, no one talks about it here, and don't bring it up around the creators because they had no hand in it. So they're like,
it just got stolen from them.
Yeah,
they bought the property.
Well, I mean, Nickelodeon's under Viacom. So Viacom, like once you kind of sell a show to Nickelodeon,
it's gone.
It's Viacom's, you know, and then Viacom's like, all right, thanks, bud. We got M. Night over here.
Oh my God.
He's a huge fan.
Someone, his team is so good because they are so thriving after so like whoever his team is must be amazing.
I met it. They were at Upfronts. He's doing a thing with TNT, and I met him and I was like, I was asking him, and he has no idea. Like he's just like, yeah, I'm just still doing shit.
Is he surprised too?
No, I think he's a very charismatic man, and I can see why he can sell shit. But his people that he has around him, they're very good. So I think they're very good at selling shit.
That's crazy.
And I guess for all the bombs that he has, I guess they haven't really lost money.
Yeah.
I think they'll just like break even.
Right.
And his hits are so big.
Yeah.
I have a theory that if you make like 2 good things, you'll work forever.
True. I
It's
guess.
kind of like a Michael Mann. I mean,
Yeah.
like that latest one, Black
whoa.
Hat. I mean, like my friend was in it. I felt
the hacker thing. Yeah.
one.
Tread
Black Hat.
carefully. I'm
They're
a
like-
huge Michael Mann.
I don't know that much about him, but I just know that the last one was
I liked
awful.
it. I liked it.
All I know is that's bad
because he has-
casting.
It felt like
Liam's Hemsworth, come on, man.
That-
Dude's
No, I
hitting the
agree.
gym for 4 hours.
It also-
and then being
it
like
also felt
MS
like-
DOS.
Yeah, it's like come on. It felt like a really long TV movie. Is what it felt like.
Yeah.
And there was the other one. The who's the Almost Famous director?
James Cameron.
Yeah, James Cameron is one.
No. Jim Crow.
Jim Cameron.
James Crow.
Wait,
James Crow.
It's not Jim Crow. This is taking a turn. Cameron Crowe.
Cameron Crowe. Both last names. Where did the James? It started with the James Cameron.
It was funny because I was before you get into it, I was listening to a podcast just yesterday. It's called I Was There Too, and they interviewed Mark Maron because he had a little segment in that podcast, and they're talking about that film. But yeah, he's done some shit like Aloha.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's
Oh,
forgivable
man.
because he has some like.
He's got some hits.
Like
Yeah.
when I just feel like when you're a director and they're still mentioning your first 2-3 movies, like that's really like I don't want to be in that position like ever.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Like, it's great that they're like legends, but it's like
That's why I feel like, you know,
But
as
that's such a small group of people that can stay
That's true.
relevant for that.
that's what I'm
long.
saying. Like I think like with going back to M. Night, it's like that's how good Sixth Sense was.
Yeah.
It's like that. He's on the fumes of Sixth Sense,
Yeah.
like literally like almost 2 decades later.
because that was such a cultural change too. Because not only
It was a
it
moment.
like box
It was a real
office, but
moment.
like cultural effect too.
Yeah.
And I personally, a lot of people hated it, but I loved The Village. You know,
I didn't mind The Village.
because like he had like at least it was The Village was kind of like his fall off.
Did you
Because
see Unbreakable?
no,
That shit was good.
I don't
So,
know,
yeah,
that was the last M. Night Shyamalan I watched actually.
Yeah.
I haven't
see,
watched
that was the
others
thing. It
since.
was Signs or Sixth Sense, like Unbreakable, Signs, The Village, and then
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, now he's coming away from like the whole like there's a shock. Like he's just doing regular movies now.
Is
he?
Right?
Yeah.
What
I
about
heard that last horror movie he
that
made
Grandparents
did
or The
well.
Visitors or something?
Yeah, it did well. The Visit.
well, that's
or
good for
whatever.
him. I'm happy that it's like we all have hope in him. We're like, please.
You know what's crazy though is they stopped putting his name
Yeah. Okay.
because
that's right,
the
yeah.
last time I saw a trailer with him,
Planet Earth.
something.
Yeah.
No.
That Will Smith one.
They
After.
didn't put his name, but it was a movie before that where they put his name, and people. It was the elevator one.
The
Remember that
devil.
elevator
yeah,
shit?
yeah,
The
yeah.
devil.
The devil, whatever.
Yeah,
And
he just produced it. Yeah.
And his name from M. Night Shyamalan, and literally everyone laughed. They laughed at him.
So sad.
And I was like, and then afterwards, his name wasn't on, and I was like, I
feel like
he
he's
had to
kinda
go to
like-
one screening and be like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
He's like, and this is saying a lot. He's in the early stages of Nick Cage. You know,
In a way.
because like everyone's like, oh, he can. I don't know.
I don't think he'll Nick Cage himself.
I hope not. You know.
He's got to lean in at some point.
'Cause I don't
He's
think
like,
he
if
has-
This is what they want me to be. I'll be it.
I don't think he has enough debt to be Nick Cage. Nick Cage is.
How come he hasn't put any brown people in his movie? How come he hasn't done like a brown movie?
I don't. That's the thing that I wanted to ask him, but I only met him I was only hanging out there for like an hour.
Is he super like? And I know this word is weird, but like, is he like very like whitewashed? Like, or is he very proud of his heritage?
He didn't seem like it.
Does he not think that there's a struggle still for brown people?
I don't know. Like he shows up to red carpets, his wife is like in a sari. Like he seems like he's down for the cause.
Yeah, like he's proud of his heritage, but like it's like
maybe he's such a businessman that he's like, yo, I'm trying to make a movie that sells, so I'm gonna put Bruce Willis in this shit.
Yeah, but it's like he's like you said, like unless he still feels like he hasn't gotten to a place that he's so comfortable where he can just go fund. No, dude, like you can go fund like just cut like the cream off the top of his coffee cup, and you can go fund like 10 micro budget films that help like Indian filmmakers.
But I think he wants to make. He's trying to make big money.
But like
he's more of a business. That's why he's stuck around. He's more of a businessman.
But I mean, like not to bring up Hamilton again, but to bring up Hamilton again.
Okay, let's go into it. He can't stop talking about Hamilton.
Don't roll your eyes over there, off cam.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't. No one's seen it.
Yeah, no one's seen it. What if it actually sucks?
It's transparent.
But all I can say is I have a bootleg copy. If you want the files. But that was proof that like all people of color cast can lead like one of the most successful shows, if not the most successful show on Broadway of all time, you know?
But they still, I just thought of this right now, but it's like, but they still have to rely on their ethnic urbanness as like the selling point.
Right. It wasn't just like, hey, I'm Lynn. I'm just a guy just in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had, and not to say that they shouldn't.
No, not at all.
And like, if that's what makes them, if that's what gives them like their angle, their story, then like, absolutely exploit it. You know, as much as you can.
Yeah.
But it is weird. It's like, at what point does your ethnicness become something that is what's the selling point versus like, this is just who I am. Anyways,
No, I understand. Yeah. But let's get started.
Let's get into this. Yes.
Let's get started.
I'm nervous.
About why?
I don't know. Like I was like, it makes me think about like how much research you guys did and digging, and I'm like, and not that we have any like,
we did a
we don't
lot.
have any dirt.
We have sex tapes.
Yeah.
You know, actually for this,
we hacked into your cloud.
For this episode, we were actually talking about maybe reformatting and restructuring because like I listen to a lot of podcasts and I was like, yo, we really prepare. Like we dig on a lot of our episodes. And I was like listening to like Mark Maron or The Nerdist or Pete Holmes, and everyone always says like, oh, we don't prepare.
But I feel like the problem is like we have a finite amount of time and we don't have like Mark Maron numbers.
No, understandable. And like given that he's done like 700 podcasts and The Nerdist has done 800 episodes, so they are in a place where they just know how to flow into conversation and like, oh, we don't.
You guys are great conversationalists.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you, man. I also think though that a lot of our fans, we have such a very
I don't like to call them fans.
Listeners. We have a very group of audience. Whatever the fuck it is, you're fans. We have such a varied group of people listening that all of them don't necessarily know all of the guests that we have.
Yeah.
So we kind of having questions and stuff, I feel like, because after we release them, there's always a large percentage of people who are like, oh, now I'm fans of these people because like now I know about them. But like if I'm interviewing Tom Cruise, I don't need to be like, hey, so like where did you grow up for the people who don't know who you are.
I mean, like as much as I want to give ourselves credit, I don't feel like we're there yet to be like, we're going to introduce you to these guys because it's like these guys are like,
I mean, that's not, I mean, well,
there's no way that's
who's to say, like in this day and age, like, you know, people like fans are so come and go.
They're so niche too, especially on YouTube. It's like one person listens to this may not listen to another thing. So it's cool that we have like a big, we have a big gumbo here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited though.
We'll see, man.
This is only my second podcast.
No way.
So yeah.
You know,
you're not a podcast slut like some of these people.
Who's your first? Who was your first?
Who was your first? What did he do to you?
You know Collaboration?
Yeah.
So Christine, Minji, they have like this podcast, and it was just something fun for them.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well,
let's do it.
I'm happy.
Show me new positions. Should like expand my.
Just be comfortable yelling.
Yeah.
Is there a safe word?
There's a safe word. This is a safe space.
Shyamalan. Shyamalan should be a safe word.
We're taping. It's happening.
What's
up?
It's happening.
Sumair, do something. Jesus
Why do
Christ.
you guys have?
Oh man.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
At first, I was like,
no,
"Is that no?
I ain't that
It's
big.
there.
I ain't that big.
It's there.
It could
Don't
be.
insult. Don't insult Zane. Don't insult that beauty. It's a long story.
It's okay. We don't have time for that on this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah,
It's all about me. It's not
all
about your Zayn Malik.
you.
Yeah, there's nothing to worry about because it's all about you, man. It's all about your life.
Let's do it.
And,
Let's go into
your
it. Let's go into
journey
it.
and everything, you know. So we have Philip Wang, 1/3 of Wong Fu of the Wong Fu Productions team.
Hello.
Philip is a writer, director. He acts, and he's an entrepreneur.
Wow.
That's just like a fraction of what he does, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't mention YouTuber in there. Wow. No, I kind of
Because
that's kind of
I don't-
cool.
Because those factor into what
I
you
know.
guys do.
I really
Yeah.
don't see you as. I mean, like you guys do have your second channel, which is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
vlogging,
yeah.
but I don't. I really consider you as a filmmaker.
I appreciate
more
that. No,
than like
honestly, thank you.
a quote unquote YouTuber.
Thanks.
Over the past 10 years, him and his team have put out some extremely heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking.
Gut-wrenching film that explore human vulnerability, honesty, betrayal, love, heartbreak, hope, as well as some comedic social commentary on the Asian American experience, man. It's been an exciting year for you, bro.
Yeah.
And I've been a fan, like not even from afar. I'm just like a huge, like, I just love the content that you've done. And like, literally a lot of the guests that we've had and even
Have been on
Yeah.
your guys'
and
stuff.
and like I don't even know how many episodes like people have been like, oh, like Wong Fu, and we're like,
oh shit.
yeah, you guys fuck with
People
him?
know us,
Yeah, man. Like Ali
phew,
Maki, Megan Batoon.
We're still relevant. Oh, thank God.
What are you talking about?
You guys are like the Dr. Dre of the game. Where you're
You guys have, like-
you could be Eminem, you
Oh
be
my
Kendrick
God.
Lamar. You get at it. Yeah.
We joke about these whenever we talk to like traditional people. We're like, hey, just to let you guys know, you're talking to the old guys from YouTube. And it's so true. Like there's literally like teenagers, you know, that are like opening boxes and putting.
They're like, I have a
marshmallows together.
makeup line. You're like, you're 9. You know?
So I when I joke about still being relevant, like honestly, like it is kind of true,
but like,
you know?
but
Yeah.
you and the OG guys,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Timothy DeLaGhetto
Yeah.
came by, and you know, you guys are still like putting not just putting out like content, but like
Good content.
high
Like, good
quality
stuff.
content.
Yeah.
You know, not something that like, you know, you guys do shoot like guerrilla style, but
Yeah.
you guys make it look so well.
We try to make a little look like a lot.
Yeah.
And we try to focus on, you know, quality story and
Yeah.
storytelling rather than just being like the loudest voice in the room.
No, for sure.
Like literally, I feel like a lot of my career is screaming, and so it takes a lot of art.
Yeah, do you feel sometimes like a lot of like the OGs in every other field, whether it's like the film industry or like music, they're just like they always get upset for like young people coming in and doing something radically different, you know?
You know what? Like I think the first time I kind of felt that way was when Vine was starting to pop off, and I was getting
Which is all screaming based comedy. Yeah.
I'm so happy it's dead. I'm so happy it's gone.
I'm not. Yeah, like I'm not gonna say that I was like, what the fuck is this, or whatever. I was more just like, this is what it, like this is all that it takes now. Like,
Right.
6 seconds is all kids want or all people
Yeah.
want. And then I had to remind myself. I stepped back and I was like, you know what? When YouTube first came out, that's how the older dogs saw YouTube and like, oh, like they don't even know how to load a can of film.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And I was like, and I would think about them. I'm like, why should we have to know that? Like, why aren't we taking advantage of new technologies? Yada yada. So I was very defensive, or I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder back then. And so, you know, me and some of our younger staff, like, you know, it reminded me like, okay, like if this is the new way, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then it fell off, and then now it's like, okay,
It's like, peace, bitches.
You're like, remember me, bitches? Yeah.
But like all of them are now coming onto YouTube and
yeah.
they're trying to be YouTubers.
I think
you
that's
know?
I think that's a testament to like how powerful and how influential YouTube is.
Yeah.
We you know, we've done some like fun videos or segments with like the kids from Fresh Off the Boat. These are 8 to like 12-year-olds, and they're on a network show, and they're like, man, I want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? You have the dream of that like people that have been doing this for 50 years are trying to do.
Yeah.
It's the great
you know?
equalizer, YouTube.
The following that you have and the support in the community there on YouTube, you really like traditional like quote unquote celebrities don't have that anymore,
Right,
you know,
right.
No.
because like at the
We're
time,
employees now. Traditional actors, we're just employees.
yeah, because like back in the day, it was like J14 magazine or whatever, like those like teen magazines. Everyone have to get a little bit information about what the celebrity gossip is for
You
teens.
can just
but
Google the person. and
now
find
it's
everything
like
about
fan
it.
clubs. Or,
Now it's like
I was
all-
part of the kids club. You know, you
Really?
get like once a month you get like a
remember
little
that.
magazine of like, and like I'm like these are basically like the tweets of those times.
Yeah.
You know, or like the blog posts of like
in high school, I joined Linkin Park Underground. It was the Linkin Park fan club.
You look like a Linkin Park fan. Was
was
Mike
like-
Shinoda like you're the influence of this?
Bro.
right here? Is this?
Bro, Mike
Am I looking at Mike
Shinoda.
Shinoda like reincarnated?
I am so
He
honored
was
that
like,
you made that
if
comparison.
you don't fuck with hybrid theory,
Yeah.
I'll kill
Hybrid
you.
Theory, oh man, top
my
10
God.
albums of like, oh man. But yeah, I was such a huge
Yeah.
Linkin Park fan
Yeah.
that like the only way I could, because they would be like, we're getting on chat
Yeah.
like once a month.
And you're like, I'm fully erect.
Join
Let's do
our,
this.
join our like message
Did
form.
they have a hotline that you would call and just listen to their voice?
man.
It's Mike
they-
Shinoda being like, I'm gonna rap, and then Chester's gonna yell.
Dude, I can't believe like that after however many years his voice box is
It's
not
still the
just
same.
completely
It
deteriorated.
sounds exactly the same. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's amazing. That's talent.
They were like, they were really cool guys. Yo, can we like
They've
go
stayed
on a little
relevant. Good
side
for them, yeah.
tangent about
For Linkin Park, absolutely, it's about you, right?
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
This is talking about Ali with Ali. Yeah.
I feel like it ties into our like larger theme.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the
I'm excited to
discussion.
see how it's gonna come back. So, let's
So
go for it, yeah.
they were like the first band to ever have an Asian American lead. How do you like that shit?
No, that's I do remember.
And not
Mike
only-
Shinoda, yeah.
not
Lead,
only-
yeah, because there were bands that had like, there were
Well,
a couple
there's
bands
Chad
like,
Hugo.
From
you
the
know,
yeah,
Neptune,
but he was
yeah.
like a producer.
Right,
He was,
right, right.
and then he was like, this was like a rock band too.
Right,
You know, it was like a
he
rock
wasn't in
rap.
the forefront.
Right.
Yeah, and then they had an Asian DJ as well.
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like at least
Joseph
like
Khan,
yeah,
right?
Joe
Yeah.
Khan, yeah,
Joe
Mr. Khan. Like a fraction of like a good chunk of there was
Yeah.
like Asian. You know, and I love that.
I was very proud of that.
It was
Yeah,
very-
I remember.
it was a
and like
diverse
that's
band,
why like
yeah.
growing up, I was like, they're Asian. They looked at like the closest thing for us. I remember like Hassan Minhaj had that thing about Jeremy Lin. You know,
Yeah.
he was like, yo, that's the closest we can.
You
get.
know what mine was? Mine was that dude from No Doubt.
Oh,
A lot of
yeah.
bass
Guy.
players are Indian.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
that guy from No Doubt
Sum
who like
41.
has like a good career,
Yeah.
and then the
Sum
fucking clown from Sum
41.
41 who's just like he
love
was
Sum
like
41.
he was
Yeah.
eating too much, you could tell. But he's like, "Fuck it, man, I'm crushing this bass right now."
So I can see how you're coming back now.
So, yeah,
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 you
yeah.
know,
See how you're
and
coming
then
back.
Representation.
representation, you know, and now they're still relevant. Still until they drop their new album like sometime next year.
Yeah.
They've been doing great things. They broke ground, you know, and I
Yeah.
feel like Wong Fu kind of did that as well because you guys were like, I want to say like one of the first.
We're old. We get, you know, it's true.
No,
yeah.
no.
no, and I don't even say that.
It's not
like,
even old.
I'm not even.
It's
being,
like you guys,
yeah,
like-
self-deprecating.
Not only did you guys like
You
break
guys
ground,
started the wave.
yeah, you started the wave because everyone that we spoke to, even like when I was talking to like
Even people who we think are old.
you know, like I
like,
was talking
nah,
to other
man.
YouTubers like Alex Wasabi and
Yeah.
everything. They're like everyone was like, oh, Wong Fu was like they set the we're like
That's
they're like
crazy.
Ali Maki was like
Yeah.
she felt like she was
was
finally
like-
in a community.
The first time I ever did like a YouTube video was with
Yeah.
you guys.
yeah,
So, like,
Megan Batoon, we had her
Yeah.
last week, and her episode dropped today, and she was talking about like, you know, I watched their video, and then Wong Fu was the
inspired
one
me to
and
like
Wong-
do my own
Yeah.
stuff.
and you reached out to Erica Choa, you know, to be
Yeah,
like
yeah,
come
yeah.
and join.
Was it
Sig-
weird for you guys to be so far ahead of like diversity now is kind of a thing,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Where
No, it
they're
totally
like, we'll
is,
make
yeah.
you the friend, but you'll
Yeah.
never be the
Yeah.
lead. But when you guys came out, that wasn't even a thing you could think about.
You know what? Like, it was so not a thing to think about that we weren't even thinking about it. And I think that's why maybe we were able to do what we did is because we didn't make it a thing. And that's what we're just being very authentic.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, it's just me and my friends. I'm not trying to be diverse. I just am diverse by nature.
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And like, so when we were in our videos, you know, we were just being ourselves. We were just being human. We were just telling, you know, stories the way that we just experienced them. And I think, you know, obviously, like, you know, when we started, it was a mix of good timing, but also being able to be consistent, you know, after
Right,
that timing, right?
yeah.
So, you know, you kind of touched on, like, we were so ahead of it that we didn't even know what we were doing.
Yeah.
And so a good thing of that is that there was no expectation.
Right.
There was no feeling of like, oh, we're not successful enough yet. There was no feeling of like, oh, we haven't hit that benchmark oh, we must be failing, or someone's doing better than us.
It was just literally we're putting out stuff that we like to do, and then whatever happens.
Thankfully, fans were coming and to support. Yeah. Thankfully, the community was building around us with other YouTubers, and there was no competition yet. It was more just like, whoa, you're doing this too? Awesome! I have someone that kind of relates to these weird YouTube social media problems that now we are so familiar with in terms of, you know, etiquette and stalking, or in terms of like what's too far, or like censoring. But back then it's like no one really knew what we were doing. So it was a blessing and a curse. The blessing was just ignorance is bliss. So we're just powering through. We don't even know what's going on. Let's just keep going. Yeah. The sucky thing was that there was no business around it yet. And so nowadays, you know, people start YouTube already with expectations of like,
I'm gonna be a millionaire, baby.
Once I get those viral videos, I'm gonna whatever, you know, I just need these for my CPMs and whatever. We were doing YouTube for like 3-4 years before AdSense was even invented. Holy shit. You know, like, because it was like 05, and then like 08 was the beta. Right. And then 09 was kind of when it started. I remember when, this is just going to be like I remember when kind of show, but like when ads first started coming out, like people literally left comments saying, I'm not going to watch your videos because I don't want to watch ads. You know, like now it's like,
it's just normal. Just watch the fucking ads.
So now people are like ad blocker.
Well, I feel like this our first brand integration was like $50, and we thought it was amazing. It was through like this small boutique ad agency that was like, oh, can you just mention this website? It was like for like anti-cigarettes or whatever. Now I guess these kids must have some other kids watching them. Like $50, we were so excited.
Now no one's good. Like, don't even look at it. Like, don't even we're not even like big time, and we'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
I would do an ad for cigarettes.
Yo, you got any loose cigarettes?
$50 gift card, perhaps. Yeah.
Shit, you know what? Actually, when you put it like that, $50 gift card
for cigarettes. I guess so. But no, it's crazy to see how much the business and industry has evolved in literally like less than a decade.
Yeah, man.
In 5 years.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people look at you guys as like the older brother, you know, and I look at like, as weird as this might sound, like I've always like watching your videos, and I'm sure a lot of your audience and your followers feel like you're like that older brother that we all wish to have. You know?
I'm crossing the line into like uncle now. Like it's like that. Once you hit like 30, then it's like
listen, man. At least you're not. 30? At least you're fun, uncle. You don't want to be creepy.
Yeah, uncle, you can be like the, because like just watching a lot of like the videos, like, you know, like you guys been there for a long time. A lot of us were like teenagers when I don't think I was. No, was I? It doesn't matter. But
he
like,
just dates his life based off of Linkin Park albums.
So I was like, I do. 8th grade, Meteora came out. 7th grade.
He's 2 Meteoras old, is basically.
Summer of like 7th, 8th grade, Reanimation came out.
I'm one Mike Shinoda solo project old.
Couple days, like weeks before graduation, minutes to midnight. Anyway. But like we would watch your shit and just be like, yo, man, like this guy is funny. He's relatable, wise, you know, and bro, first of all, I gotta ask you, are you okay, man? Are you like emotionally okay? Because all your short films are just like...
Yeah, we were going through them again, and I was like, I remember, I'll tell you this story. I did a show in Atlanta once, and I was doing like a stand-up show at a college, and I was talking to this girl, and then afterwards, like, we exchanged numbers or whatever, like we hung out, and and then
nice.
I'm
glad I helped in some way into the story. So
later on, she like sends me this video, and I didn't know about you guys yet. She sends me this video. And it was one of your guys' video, and it was just like, I was like, what's going on? What happened to you? In the 1 hour? Like, are you sad? Like, what? Did I do something? Like, you seem really depressed.
You didn't even know me. You're like, I think I hurt this person.
Yeah, what happened? I thought I was being fun. Yeah. And then I was like, are you okay? Yeah. And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. This is just like really cool. Yeah. Like, cause you're like, you know, you're Asian. Like, this is Asian American people like doing stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought you were going through something and you were trying to tell me like a cry for help.
Please help me. You know, there's a lot to unpack here. But like, I think the first thing is like, cause even when you were like the intro, you're like, oh, like they're known for their heartfelt emotional stuff. Yeah. The funny thing is that we've made more than double like comedic sketches.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
But it's funny that, you know, people say, oh, like they're so romantic, and they're like these like, some people will say, oh, they're so cheesy or whatever. I'm like, dude, we do comedy.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
But the funny thing is that the things that get watched the most are the romantic stuff. Yeah.
You know? And why is that?
And you know what it is? And I think it's because like people want to feel that way.
Of course, they want to feel
feelings. Yeah, and they don't want to admit that they feel sad or feel
But you
feelings.
you get
right?
to see those low key numbers. You're like, I see what you guys are doing.
Right?
So I'll give you my 2 cents why I feel like people, because I'll tell you why I watch it.
Right.
Well, no, okay, you know what? Let me pull myself out of this because I don't want people associating me with emotions.
See?
His whole
See, that's
brand.
the thing.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the thing.
yeah.
People don't
Yeah.
want to
But
feel the
a lot of
feelings.
people have felt heartbreak.
Right.
You know,
These are real things.
people
Absolutely.
go through relationship. Like there's a breakup. Like here's Ali Baluch statistics made up. There's a breakup every 5 minutes. You know, someone gets their,
much more frequently than that.
fine.
Yeah.
Every 30 seconds, someone gets their
Probably.
heart broken.
Probably.
And someone's crying over something. And then
Exactly.
it's like, and you know, like, what do you do when that happens? You sit in front of the computer.
Get that catharsis.
And then
yeah.
you come upon videos where it like breaks down relationships and it like very like you guys very articulate feelings, you know,
Analyze things.
analyze
Yeah.
things, and you know you guys had that one where about like what was it
The stages.
yeah, the
so
stage
strange.
one the first like,
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
Everyone calls it this, and for good reason. It was the time when we could finally fully express our affection to each other and do all the things we wanted to do as a couple. It was a dream come true.
But that one, it's like shit. That's so real.
Yeah.
That's so real.
And that was the interesting
unfamiliar.
thing.
Was it
Yeah.
unfamiliar?
I
Whatever.
got that video for that girl, and I was like, what's going on here? And then I watched the other ones, and I saw sketches and stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this
Yeah.
is not their whole thing.
They're not super emo, you
But
know.
it's just so relatable, and it's like shit, man. Someone's actually like speaking to me.
Right.
Like I'm going through this, and there's actually a video. Like it's a visual representation.
And it's useful because a lot of times I feel like the way emotion is dealt with on YouTube, a lot of it is just like, all right, I'm gonna set up a camera in my room and then just talk about how depressed I am.
It's like
You
the
guys
webcam.
found
It's
a
like the
way.
webcam. Like, isn't your relationships crazy? Cut to over here. I hate relationships.
And then characters like, what do you think? Because like, I think I'm sad.
And you know what? And there's a place for that.
There
You know,
is.
like, but like, yeah. And I think what we try to do is, I mean, I think one thing that we always tell people is like, I think everyone thinks that everyone is the lead in their own movie
Of course.
their own life, right?
Yeah.
So if we can depict a scene or show something that people can feel like they can insert themselves in,
Yeah.
and like you said, yeah, everyone feels feelings, you know,
course.
and if you can show them honestly or show a scene or represent it honestly, then and hopefully like give them a positive message. We always try to have like a positive message or a hopeful
like it
message.
gets better,
It gets
essentially.
better,
Yeah.
or you'll get through it, or there's a reason, right? You know,
Right.
so we always try to do that. But I think like love and relationships is just there's so much to like do within that topic. Sometimes like
Yeah.
I think sometimes every so often I'll see a comment that's like, oh my gosh, like love again, but then when I see those comments from those people, I'm like, you guys don't know anything about love.
No.
If you think that love is just this one layer of like, oh, a love story, once again, you know, like then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
haven't. Then I feel
You haven't
bad.
been through
exactly.
it. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I think like people have. There's so many different stories. There's so many layers to it, and I think for me, you going back to what you're saying, am I okay? I am okay. I have good friends around me.
Yeah.
I have good family and everything. But I think one thing I shouldn't do is I do leave open a door.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of people try to like suppress, and I like
His
to.
door is fucking 8 deadbolts on it. Yeah, yeah.
And it's like and it's surrounded by Linkin Park.
And it has that New York storefront thing where he rolls that metal sheet down in front of it.
That's where I spray paint the Linkin Park logo.
Yeah. And you have the lyrics of Linkin Park spray paint on it.
It just says, I tried so hard so many times.
See, and we're laughing about it right now. But actually, he might actually really want to talk to someone about it. You know? And like.
I'm okay.
Right.
This is not a cry for help.
Right. It's not. I think we're all generally okay, but it's like I think
I've become so numb.
I'm
done.
We're gonna just start talking in Linkin Park lyrics, and so I don't mind being either like a vessel or a voice or a platform for like saying, hey, I'm okay to put myself out there as like I feel these things.
And I also feel like that's the thing that women have over dudes. Is like they could be like, oh yeah, I have emotions. I will explore them, and I will be a better, like, emotionally grown-up person versus the dudes who are just like, I don't know, and nothing affects me, and then one day you just blow.
And that's actually really. I've never thought of it from that point of view, but like, I mean, obviously, people are always talking about like emotional health for men is like actually like
it's
really
terrible,
right?
Yeah.
And that does lead to very terrible things,
And especially in like immigrant communities and like people who come from that part of the world.
Toxic idea of masculinity,
Right.
where it's like this dumb idea where it's like men are supposed to behave in a certain way,
Right.
and it like that just cripples you,
But
man.
you know what's really interesting, and I know we shouldn't give out YouTube stats, but one thing I'm actually really proud of and I don't want to hide this is that our demo is actually like, if you look at our graph, it's literally 50-50.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
now. And like there
That's
are
very rare for channels.
Very rare. It's either mostly women or like
mostly
guys.
dudes. Yeah.
I talked to like some friends that are like video gamers, like, dude, like we are 99%. Like that, like their whole pie graph is like blue.
No,
it's like one girl, and she's like, "I'm gonna quit. I get harassed way too much. I'm out of here."
No,
I give it a try.
We made like a very conscientious effort to have a balanced demographic.
Yeah.
But we were really aiming for like the only thing that we got right for our channel is the age demographic we want to hit. We were like, we want like to target this age audience at like the college age, and like we got that, but like there's still we're still working to balance the scales.
So the age thing though, in terms of relationship, it does become a challenge for us.
Really?
Because like obviously, like sometimes like we released the video like a couple months ago called Untouchable, and
I'm in a good place, and you need to get there too. You say you want this story, but you've been stuck on this one page this whole time.
And it was like about like, you know, this couple maybe late 20s, early 30s that have been in and out, and they've been through shit, right? And I just know for a fact that there are probably 12-year-olds that are watching this going, this is great. Yeah. You know, I'm like, dude, you don't know what you're
like, this is awesome. This guy had sex with up to 3 different women.
And
this is awesome.
I worry. I'm like, what resonated with this in you? But then what the great thing about it is that I also go back to some of our older videos and I see comments. I'm like, these are the comments that make me the most happy. And they're like, I watched this 5 years ago and I thought it was one thing and now it's another thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
And to have a video that I think evolves with someone, that's the most rewarding to me.
It's kind of like music.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or like movies and stuff,
Right.
where like you watch it once or you listen to it once and then you see it again and you're like, oh man, I wasn't even, I was on the surface the first time.
Yeah. And so like sometimes like it's impossible to not compare yourselves to other like YouTube channels and
of course
popular, you know, YouTubers, and that is one thing that I still will always like, you know, be really happy that we have that, because it's like, you know, if we made like a Gangnam Style parody video like that, it exists in that time and that's like it, you know. But it's nice to have like projects and content that.
And
like,
what I like about your guys' channel is what I saw is that you guys, a lot of YouTube and stuff, I feel like a percentage of it seems to be like diarrhea, where it's just like, I'm just gonna put something up every 15 minutes. This is just what I did today, blah, blah, you know what I mean? Which there is a place for that.
That's what pays those bills for a lot of those people.
Right. But I feel like there's not enough emphasis put on stuff that actually will, like, you can watch a couple years from now. And things that will stand the test of time, that you can look back on and be like, oh, I'm proud that I did that and I did this and I did that.
It's a Shrek 3 versus Toy Story 3.
Exactly.
Ooh, that's a great comparison.
Oof. Shots fired.
I remember watching like Shrek and I'm like, this is a good movie, but like there's like eBay jokes in here. There's like Starbucks jokes in here. I'm like, this is not going to stand the test of time.
It just wasn't.
Sorry, Shrek fans.
It wasn't. Now, like bringing it back to like what we were talking about, you know, like just the new forms of media that are coming out, and you're seeing these young YouTubers and like digital media stars doing dumb whatever in their
that was his words.
I don't give a shit. I'll take my shots. They do really some dumb shit.
There's
like,
some like
let me
100 layers.
I mean, I do dumb shit too. It's like we're not immune.
So you watch it and you're like, shit, man, this dumb shit is actually getting the views and they're getting the hits and they're getting the recognition. Right. Do you ever feel like, well, maybe I will drop a condom on my head, or maybe like, you know, we can get those, you know?
You know, I definitely, like once again, like there's a place for those and there's an audience for those audiences. I think like, I don't think like 8-year-olds want to watch sad romantic videos, you know, so, and they need their entertainment to have a good childhood. Of course. So I get it. And like, and to a certain extent, you know, on our second channel, sometimes we do those fun things, because sometimes you just want to participate in
and
like,
just have fun
in just what's going on. Yeah. Pop culture. Yeah. You want to participate in pop culture.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll do that. But in terms of like what I want our like legacy to be or what we're known for, then I would much rather be, you know, pitching TV shows and like trying to develop movies like that. That's what I think will give me the most satisfaction. But yeah, I mean, it is. I'm human, you know. Like you see like these other people that are doing these things. Like, man, like if this is all like people want, like why are we trying so hard? And you know, we definitely don't make as much as, you know, some of these people, you know, and but one good thing though, and what I am encouraged by, you know, just us, you know, getting, you know, we had like a YouTube Red show earlier this year, and we made a movie. Like ultimately, like in the bigger picture of like what the industry is, people value good content. And like people that can create good content, right? And so if your personality, like if you're super popular, then you better do the most that you can with your personality while you have that fame, because what lasts longer is actually like ideas.
Yeah.
So if you're a personality with ideas, then you have both. Then
Because that's the thing.
really
Like
great.
I know a lot of like industry people, and they'll be like, "Yeah, we'll bring these people in."
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, "What do you have?" And they're like, "Well, I have my channel,
Yeah.
and like that's
Or like, can
it."
you
And
put
they're
me?
like, "Do you have a
yeah.
show?"
Can
thing?
you put me in a show with someone
And they're-
famous so I can be more famous?
And they're
You know?
like, "We'll audition you," and then they'll be like, "You're garbage. Why are you yelling and doing 2 characters in the audition?"
Yeah. Do you feel like sometimes you don't get the respect that you deserve in not the YouTube community, but from YouTube?
No, actually,
Because I get upset with that shit for you guys.
I'm actually a supporter of YouTube. I think like there's things to be critical of them, but at the end of the day, I'm a very level-headed, reasonable person.
Yeah.
At the
This
end of
is
the
why
day-
you have longevity. Yeah.
At the end of the day, first of all, they're a tech company.
Okay.
It's a business.
Second of all, it is a business. Second of all, they have no reason to share any of their profits with us. If you like think about Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we're giving them all this content,
And they don't give you a
and they don't
percentage
give
of
you
it.
anything.
Yeah.
Yet we still participate. We still continue to
Yeah.
upload. But for YouTube, granted, the creators make their business a success, but they actually don't really need to give us any of it back.
Right.
Understandable.
Right. So I mean, there's arguments for that
Yeah.
on either side, but ultimately, like the fact that they're willing to do that is already kind of something that it did help them grow, but they and helps them stay relevant. But I mean, it's kind of cool like that we even have that, right? So we in the earlier days of YouTube, it was much more frustrating because I think they had an identity. They didn't know what they were yet.
Right.
And so there was a time when they did like those premium channels, those 100 channels that they just dumped like literally like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, millions of
Gave a
dollars.
channel to Madonna and thinking,
Pharrell,
thinking
Russell
that-
Simmons.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Thanks for the check. We're not gonna do
Exactly.
shit."
but that was, I think that was, and I actually wrote them a letter back then about this. It was like, it's kind of like when you have like the nerdy kid in high school finally get, attention and all
Yeah.
that. And they're like, oh, like the popular kids want to play with me now.
Yeah.
And they go there and they get burned because the popular kids just wanted to, just do whatever.
Use them or
just
whatever,
use them,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so now they're looking back. What I really think, even though YouTube Red might, have, people can criticize it for certain reasons. At least they're going back to their creators.
Yeah.
And they're looking at their creators for ideas, and they're really investing in them, and,
Yeah.
and they're putting the money where
They're
their
going to
mouth
bat
is.
for you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. So all this algorithm stuff, all this subscription box problems, like to me that's little. Those are little things that are
Yeah,
always going
yeah.
to be changing, always happening. That's nothing new. Yeah.
I feel like
How was that process like? The YouTube Red process.
Well, for us, we went through a company called New Form Digital, which is Ron Howard and Brian
Yeah,
Grazer's
that's right.
digital incubator. And what they do, they get a lot of pitches and they do these micro budget pilot presentations.
Yeah.
So we did that. We pitched them single by 30. They liked it. We made it for like on a penny, like a pilot presentation. And YouTube was already keeping their eyes on us because they knew that we were one of the very few channels that like told long form narrative.
Yeah, which
had
is
the
very hard,
capability.
yeah.
And we also had a following.
Yeah.
It's usually
It's
either one or the other, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they've been looking for a project to do with us, and I think the fact that we already had one kind of ready to go, they picked that up and it worked out really great.
Yeah.
So they're great to work with. I can't say anything bad about.
but
what they're trying to
let me
do.
say something bad
Absolutely,
about them.
and let me respond and maybe
I
either
feel
agree
like
or
they could have done a lot more for you guys for your YouTube Red. I feel like they didn't give, and this is what like the original question was like. I feel like they didn't give you guys the respect and the recognition and the money for marketing that they should have.
Right.
Because you drive around LA,
Yeah.
we see these massive billboards of like some really dumb like YouTube Red contents, and they're like on Sunset Boulevard on the Strip. You guys were on the Grove, on the side of the Grove,
Yeah,
right?
we had 4 billboards out there. That was
4?
Yeah, we had 4.
4 fucking billboards. When some of these like one-offs
Yeah.
have had like the entire Sunset Strip,
Yeah.
I just think that like YouTube, you guys fucked up. But I know you can't say that, and you might not think that. But,
Right.
but let me just say that on behalf of like a fan.
I appreciate that, and I think
because I have no loyalty.
I think hopefully if we get a second season, YouTube. But
Yeah, yeah.
no, I think we there's a lot of reasons. I think YouTube is still like a very data-based, kind of company, and perhaps those other channels had personalities that maybe more people knew or whatever, and we're still not on that level. But I'm proud that we made a show that wasn't reliant on a personality per se, and just it was like,
it was the product. It was you guys were, product. You guys were more of like a
concept,
like a group of filmmakers,
right.
Less than just I'm just a crazy guy. Right. And you're just coming for this crazy guy. And if the crazy guy isn't in it, then fuck this whole channel.
Exactly. Yeah.
You guys are literally like the YouTuber's YouTuber, like, because they watch YouTubers watch your shit and be like, this is really good content. Right. We got to make content like this, What kind of what pushed you guys to be like, let's keep, like, you guys kind of like one up each, not like purposely, but like, I mean, especially given time, anyone who does something gets better at it. But you guys... And we were talking about how like M. Night, and there's a lot of filmmakers like start off really good, and I'm gonna say some blasphemous shit. Guys like Spike Lee, John Singleton, they start off really hot, and then they just like tank, But you guys have been, and we're not comparing anyone to Spike or John Singleton,
right?
But we're saying that like you guys are getting,
we're trying to push ourselves
better and better and better and better, and like the writing, and
which is not something that I feel like is encouraged. If you're just a
like
YouTuber, it's very much like, hey, I see what you're doing and what you're doing, so I'm just gonna kind of do the same shit and then hopefully do fine. There's very rarely people who are like, I don't care what you guys are doing. I'm gonna do an entirely different thing, and I'm gonna invest more of my time and more effort and maybe even money out of my own pocket to push it. It's like you guys are trying to make it. You're trying to push more into like art, artistry and like long form, like you were saying, projects that can stand on their own. In a world where everyone's just like, just show me your boobs, man.
We don't have boobs, so that kind of took that out right away. But no,
YouTube, come on, get them some boobs.
No, we definitely struggle with that. I think there was a time when we're like, okay, if we're known for making this one kind of thing, why aren't we just doing, for example, like let's say Strangers Again, our most popular video, whatever.
Strangers Again. That's
why don't we just keep making that same
over
thing
and over and over and over?
Yeah. And honestly, like I think that is where us as artists and creators like kind of supersedes it. Like we're terrible YouTubers if you really think about it. And all that playbook, remember they like made like a YouTube strategy.
If someone likes you, keep doing the same fucking thing for the rest of your life.
We didn't do like one thing in it, like weekly uploads, thumbnails that have like, something really striking or whatever, I mean, now we've adopted like what
that helped us with us, like for like Foos YouTube, that helped us in that sense where we're going for clickbait. Catch your attention for like that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done. I'm just saying like that.
I feel like it fits like a certain like genre.
Right. I think just we just always wanted to see like what else we could do, and I think attributed a lot of the progress to the fans too. I think our fans are a little bit more mature as well, and they call us out too, like on like, hey, this feels the same, I wish you guys would do something else. It's cool, but it's also kind of funny because it's like, there are times where I was like, I wish we could be treated just like a regular YouTube channel, where it's like, hey, like, not to call out. Okay, let's say like there's a channel that's really great at special effects action shorts.
Yeah.
No one's leaving comments on their stuff saying, I wish you guys would do something like romantic.
Yeah. Right. I wish you would change it up. But that's the thing though.
But then people will do that to us. Like they're like, guys, why don't you guys do horror? I'm like, that's not what this channel is, but I guess we could try that.
You know what it is though? I feel like that is more of a compliment than anything, because they look at you and they go and look at you guys and what you do and they say, wow, these guys are always switching it up. They have the ability to make things that stand on their own. Right. If anyone can keep it and deal with, hey, make a horror movie, or hey, but they almost feel like, oh, these guys could probably do it, and they believe that if you guys do it, it would be something worth watching.
I'll try to take it that way. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think like it's also like maybe perhaps like it's more of like we have like a style now rather than a specific genre, and so our style like almost like like you see the Coen brothers, they can go into like a lot of different kinds, But then there's also the part of me that's like, hey, like Wes Anderson and Woody Allen, they have their style, and they just do that every time. And maybe like I don't like, so there's a part of me that's like I don't really necessarily mind if like, hey, I'm really good at just this is my way of telling a story.
But and I feel like it sticks out. You know, like you see a Wong Fu film and you're like, that's a Wong Fu film. It has that aesthetic, it has that tone, that pacing, you know, it has that feel. Like I can watch something that I wouldn't even know if your name was on it and be like, that's a Wong Fu vibe, you know?
What were some YouTube videos that when you guys started out, you guys were like, oh, was there anybody doing anything then that you guys were like, oh, this is dope?
That's the thing. Like when we first started, I'm not going to say that there weren't people that we look up or that we were like, oh, that's really cool. But in terms of like what we were doing, like it was really hard to find people to like.
Wow.
I feel like you guys were looking at at filmmakers more than
And even with that's the thing. Like even with the filmmakers, it was like it was hard to find a role model there too, because it's like, well, you guys aren't having to create as often as we are, you know, or having the scrutiny like as instant and direct
immediately.
Right. So even with the filmmakers, like, you know, people are always like saying who your like role models are, especially as Asian American directors. Like, oh yeah, did you guys look up to Justin Lin or whatever? I'm like, we looked up to him as like someone that is doing great things, but he did not go the path that we did whatsoever.
He wasn't putting shit up every week.
So it was like it's really hard to say like, oh, like, yeah, like he really kept us motivated and kept going.
Yeah.
But like honestly, like it was other YouTubers. So maybe not the same genre, but you know, like Niga Higa at that time, you know, was really coming up. David Choi was a musician. Kev Jumba, obviously, too. You know, like there were other Asians that were doing it. Like, oh, like we're not the only ones. You know, it was cool. Like there was like a community of Asian Americans that were doing it as well.
For sure. I think we're getting right towards the end, man. I really appreciate you coming through, bro. So you seem like again, like you guys put out content not every week, but you guys put out content a lot, right? And you're writing like you went to Rome and did that film in like 24 hours, you know? And I feel like that productivity, it's just like, that's all you get. I feel like you guys just work and work. When do you guys take a break, and like what do you do to waste your time? What's your favorite thing to do to waste your time?
Yeah, it's actually like, I mean, when I hear about YouTubers that do like daily vlogging, like I'm just like, that's insane. That's literally insane. That's why
no one's life is that interesting.
That and you just shouldn't put yourself up to having to be on all the time. You know, like even if it is like edited down or whatever. Either way, I actually like a few years back we learned, or I realized I need to give myself like weekends, you know, like, to like just enjoy. Like,
ooh, that's some grown man shit.
You know, like
I need a Sunday.
Really, like, and I'm not gonna feel guilty, like, or if I come home at night and just watch TV. I used to feel really guilty about like watching TV, you know, and I think like now it's like. It's really not that complicated. I love like just getting a good meal like with friends. I like to go out and drink with buddies, play basketball. I don't play video games. I used to, but now it's like it's way too hard to get invested in video games.
It's hard as ill.
Lately, I've been like, I want to get back into it.
No, you don't.
I thought that too, and then I was like, man, like the game doesn't get good until like hour 8, you know, and it's like I have to get. And that's actually how I feel about. I want to start reading more. Everyone's like, you're a writer. Like, why don't you read? I feel so embarrassed. I don't read very often. So I just picked up like my first book in like years. It was
yourself a Dr. Seuss book?
I got myself. It was like on the flight. I was going like it was an international flight like last month. I'm like, okay, Girl on the Train. I heard that was really good. And so I'm on like halfway through, and I'm already kind of bored. Like,
here's the thing that I heard from a dude that reads a lot. He was like, the key to reading a lot. This is some nerdy shit. He was like, if you don't like the book, just fucking stop reading it.
Really?
Yeah.
So I don't have to feel guilty that I didn't.
He's like, that's why people hate reading, because when they open a book, they feel this weird need, like, I have to finish this book.
Right.
You don't
find a book that you like.
But
I invested $12 in it already. I need to find like a book club of people that I can.
A library. Yeah. That's what that is, man.
That was a good premise right there. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about a library? Wait,
free book?
Wait, this is gonna sound really dumb because I haven't been to a library in years. Will they have like all like the latest stuff?
All of them. You can even tell them shit. Honestly, you can even tell them stuff, and they'll buy it if they don't have it.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't been in a library in like 10 years. I mean, like I've been inside, but I haven't like gotten a book.
It's not just homeless people on computers, man. It's
my
more
next
than
one
that.
is going to be modern romance. I feel like I need to watch or read.
That's a fun book. Yeah, you'll like that.
By Aziz, I feel like I
for sure, man. You're gonna love it, bro. Thank you so much for. I feel like we still have so much.
Thanks for having me.
We have to bring you back.
Sure, man.
Soon,
Once you get through your cycle of other much cooler people.
No, man.
You know,
we'll have you soon, and we'll definitely.
Hopefully, you'll finish a book by then, and we can.
We'll
break
talk
it down.
about Girl on the Train.
We will.
I'm about to just watch the movie just to
watch the movie. He'll fill in the holes. Yeah,
and more Linkin Park.
Yeah, we'll have Linkin Park listening parties, and he'll just be in the corner with.
We got to get Mike Shinoda on this podcast.
And he would not be able to contain.
He would just be crying, and I have to ask the questions. Yeah,
I'm like. So I never really cared around like YouTubers. So like me and Fusi would always go around and like, you know, we'd be in certain areas and he's been like around, but like I would always like freak out if I saw somebody and he'd be like, I can't.
Do you get speechless around?
Sometimes he's like, I can't bring you around to these events if you're gonna act like that.
You're like sweating, just flop sweat.
Yeah, I'm like whispering. I'm like, do you know who that guy?
I'm trying to think. Who would you do that for?
I did that.
I don't know.
I went to Sarah Silverman's birthday party randomly. I don't know how I was there, but I just ended up there.
Sarah Silverman, you got like that?
Not her, but the people that were there. Chris Rock was there. Seth MacFarlane was there. John Mayer was there.
I kind of got.
I only freaked out for John Fairview.
Favreau. He doesn't even know how to fucking pronounce.
It doesn't matter.
Names.
He did like fucking like elf and shit.
Yeah.
So I couldn't talk over.
I think mine was I hung out with Dave Chappelle a bunch of times. Like I have mutual friends. Yeah. And the first time I was like very quiet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, looking. I was just like eating food. That's how I was hiding my nervousness. I was just, I'll have 8 more things of French fries.
Don't keep them coming. I just need to keep sitting here. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I would be happy to come back. You guys are.
Thank you,
you
man.
guys are very.
Hey, I'm sorry for like just blowing up your emails, man. Like I would send you like especially this week with the reminder with the calendar invite. I sent you like one false one. Then I was like, hey man, I'm so sorry for that. And then like I just sent
honestly,
like 20 emails.
I need those. And not that I'm like I'm so popular I get all these emails, but like sometimes it's like I like it's good to just have that.
Okay, I don't.
No worries whatsoever. Yeah,
dude,
I don't feel that at all.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like because people can't see? Am I supposed to handshake?
No, they can see.
Oh yeah, so handshake.
Yeah.
We're handshaking right now.
There we go. That's a strong handshake. Yeah.
Thank you. Last thing you want to plug? Do you want to go ahead and?
I mean, like, I feel like just go to our channel. I mean, YouTube.com/wongfu productions. Like, honestly, that's would be the best thing. Just because in this day and age on YouTube, like, sketches don't get seen. You know, sketches and short. One of our videos recently got on the trending page like a couple months ago, and I was like, wow, that happened. But you look at the 20 videos around us, and it's just news, late show, or like iPhone hacks, or pouring in cement or something.
James Corden, stays winning.
So yeah, if you want to support like short films and sketches, like that's what we do, and we have a show on YouTube, Red, Single by 30-day free trial. I won't tell you how to handle that 30-day free trial
because that would be the most boring end to a podcast of all time.
Yeah, you can watch it. Yeah.
But get it. Guys, and then if you guys want to watch him rap with Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, that's Jimmy Rock. I met a girlfriend, Trisket. She said a Trisket, a biscuit, ice cream soda pop, vanilla on the top. Ooh, Charlita, walking down the street 10 times a week. I said it, I said it, I stole my mama's credit. I'm cool, I'm hot. Sock me in the stomach 3 more times.
Oh my God. That was my first time being Facebook viral. That's a different thing. We can talk about it next time.
Is that like old? Is that older people?
It's
I got a lot of older white women.
It was a little bit of that, and it was a lot more of press like things, like because that'll be
Facebook has turned into LinkedIn.
We'll definitely
talk about that later. Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you so much.
See you on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Put all those links down there. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
Were we not joking or what? Like that, we told you it was going to be a fantastic episode.
Yep.
And it was.
Yep. I loved it because we didn't touch a single like prepared discussion note topic that we had prepared.
This computer was filled with questions.
It literally was, and he was ready. He was like, he was expecting us to like really, and we did our research. We were ready to dive deep into the history.
Guy has had so many experiences, and he knows so much that we just got derailed in a great way.
It was all conversational.
It was a good conversation. It's like we were having lunch together.
Well, you know what? 2 questions we did not ask.
What?
That's the staple of our podcast.
Our 2 staples, which are, where did you grow up? And did you experience racism? Those are Ali Baluch's go-to. I hope you use that on dates too. Like
I don't know.
Like hey girl.
I don't go on dates.
Like what are you doing? Have you experienced
shit got
racism in your life?
No, you know why? Because like I feel like we bring it up with every single guest, and
it's important.
It is important because everyone experiences it differently, and everyone has a different like audience where they're like, oh shit, I didn't know that like Just Rainy experience. Oh, I didn't know like Waleed Muhammad.
Because everyone thinks that their people that they look up to are just like untouchable, where they're
Yeah.
like, this dude's been cool forever.
Yeah.
When a lot of
So
times
now
they
their
aren't.
audience is like, oh, the guy that I really appreciate and follow and admire their work.
Had a life like mine, like they
Exactly.
struggled.
That's
or
why
whatever.
I'll ask the same questions about like spirituality. I'll ask the same questions about racism and when did your parents come here and your
what did
parents'
they
struggle?
think about
Yeah,
you? And
I'll always ask. Those are like the fundamental questions I'll ask every single guest. But with Phil, man, we
sometimes
just like
the guest is so dope.
we're just like, all right, well, we're going with this conversation. We're
Yeah.
not even gonna look down at the at anything that we have.
I feel like this
prepared.
episode was sponsored by Linkin Park.
This episode was, yo, Mike.
Oh, man, that's so
Shinoda.
much angst.
You know what? Can we get Mike Shinoda on this
would love
episode?
to. The dude's
Can
very
we all-
accomplished.
Literally, can we all?
Everybody.
tweet? I will provide. Actually, I won't because that's spamming.
At Mike Shinoda and
Look-
tell him to get on the apartment. Hashtag the apartment.
Yeah, look on Twitter. Find Mike Shinoda.
Shinoda.
From Linkin Park and tweet him and be like, get on the apartment with Asif and Baluch. Tag him, tag us. Let's get Mike Shinoda on this podcast.
Because he'll look into it and he'll be like, this podcast is amazing. They're
Yeah.
sponsored by Adidas. They have a promo code. Like, this is legitimately a great podcast. So
Yeah,
he'll
yeah.
do it. And honestly, that would be a great event to see
Yeah.
if our fans can make that happen.
dude, that would be the best. Because fuck, like he'd be cool, but like,
Like, Zayn would be cool, but like Mike
Mike
Shinoda,
Shinoda?
like changed Ali Baluch's life.
yeah, he did, man. I tried so hard and I got so far. But in the end,
Oh
it
my
doesn't
God,
really
it
matter.
doesn't-
you know?
it doesn't really matter.
The journey is more important than the end or the start.
Yes.
Anyway.
Oh, also, yeah, thanks again for watching this episode. Amazing. Check out our Patreon because we are the number one video podcast on YouTube, and the only way that that's a lie is if you do not subscribe to our channel.
Make us the number one podcast.
So please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all of it.
Yeah.
Whatever you listen on, we're there.
Yeah.
But we produce this and we make it out of our own pockets.
Yeah.
And so, we need your help.
We need
to
your
keep
help.
this going.
Yeah.
So check out our Patreon. We put, extras from the interviews.
Yeah.
And,
Well, this episode, I feel like it was just a very tight episode,
Yeah.
so the entire thing is up.
Yeah.
But for next week's episode, we have Dumbfounded.
there's some little bonus stuff, man. We have and other interesting things that
We have extras from,
Megan's?
Megan. No, actually, Megan's was a very, very, very tight episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's hardly anything cut except like some ums and uhs.
Uh-huh.
But we have, Elaine Squad's extras.
Mm-hmm.
We have Tamara Diaz. If you go through the list, we have like deleted scenes, and
we also have like bonus, sort of just like talks that
yeah, like a lot of
like a midweeks. We have like bonus
Dude,
midweeks that we put
haven't
up.
done a midweek. Let's do a midweek this week.
We will.
Let's do one.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not this week. I'm busy. Let's do one when this episode airs.
Mm-hmm.
When this episode airs, you can expect a midweek next week.
Get
or
ready.
this week in a couple
Get
days.
Ready. Can we talk for a second about Kanye West? As like a little teaser?
Right now or
Just for like a second.
okay, let's talk about Kanye.
What do you think is going on with this guy? Here's the thing. I've defended this guy. I don't know why. I don't know why
Same.
anyone defends
I've
celebrities. Like, who
defended-
gives a shit? It's a celebrity. But
I've defended him for the past 10 plus years since College Dropout.
he's
came
lost
out.
it.
I
He's gone off the
cannot-
deep end. Baby boy has lost his mind.
I
You know what I
bought-
think it is? Can I tell you what it is?
What?
I was talking to a friend of mine who's black and who loves Kanye West more than either of us.
Yeah.
And
That's impossible. That's impossible.
No, it's possible.
That's impossible.
And they're like, just exasperated. They're like, what? I mean, I can't defend this.
I can't either, man. I've defended him through everything, man. I bought the Dropout. I bought late registration,
but those
graduation.
Were like, it wasn't hard to defend him
Everything.
the first 3 or 4 albums because those were great and he was
just
still
like his antics, like him spazzing out on talk shows, which I loved. I found it very inspirational, and I always.
But
defended.
also there
he
was no
very
thread.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times you just be talking and be like, what is the theme here,
no,
sir?
he always had something. He always
So
had
it's
something
like
that
plants are growing and then the businesses are trying to cut my trees down, but music is in my ears. And like Jimmy Fallon, like my ears, they're on my head. So like you can't control my head because I'm a black man wearing jewelry. And you're like, that sounds like it's something, but I feel like it's really not.
He kind of, It was last year he did an interview.
That was like a Jimmy Kimmel interview where I was like, I don't think this guy said anything.
No, the Jimmy Kimmel one was good. It was like he did some other ones.
It was some other one where he was
regardless.
just like,
He's gotten to a point. Honestly, no joke. Like his team has left him.
You know what it is? I
Like,
think that's what it is.
Rhyme
I think
Fest?
he had like a whole group of people who were like, hey, we're like, people who are normal and we grew up and we're not incredibly famous like you are, and we'll ground you. We're like, people around you. And I feel like the richer he's gotten, he's living in a dream world where now he's just like super rich. There's nobody around him that knows him from Chicago or even from 10 years ago. Yeah. So it's just him and a bunch of rich people, and he's just hanging out with other rich people, and he's just in his own mind.
J. Cole,
he has a lot of stress.
Did you listen to False
I
Prophet?
did, yeah.
And he said
it was
well.
sad. It was like somebody wrote their own version of Stan.
Yeah, and he had a great point where he was like, you're just kind of surrounded by yes men who don't challenge you, and like his one of his like biggest writers and like friends,
Consequence and Rhymefest were just like, bye.
Rhymefest left, and he made a public statement like he needs
help.
He needs help.
Yeah,
and if your boys like
are saying you need help, then you probably need
that's
help.
like me going crazy and you being like, yo,
Ali Baluch needs help, and then
people should listen to you and be like, Ali does. If Asif is saying it, then
probably needs help.
Yeah.
And then I want you to do an interview where you're like, listen, Jimmy, my jacket is sponsored by Adidas, but like Adidas is a company, but like companies are trying to hold me down.
I'm not for that capitalism. Trying to break that down.
Anyways, I do feel like though that now that he's like hanging out with Trump or whatever, and it's like, dude, you can't even focus on your own mental state. Don't get into politics.
To really derail this, okay, for those of you guys who are watching this on Monday, whatever, we filmed this the Monday morning that Kanye met with Trump. So obviously in the next week.
Inexcusable. I'll say it right now. Inexcusable. I don't care what he says. Yeah. Inexcusable.
In the next week.
That's like if I hung out with David Duke and I was just trying to reach out for multicultural issues.
Yeah. But like for the next week, obviously there's going to be more commentary, more things, whatever. But like we're only bringing this up because it happened like a couple hours ago, like earlier this morning.
Also, low key, can I tell you something? Nobody talked about Syria.
I was just bringing that up because I was just going to say when that happened,
I'm a victim to it. I made a fucking meme immediately. Then I kept reading Twitter and I was like, oh shit, people are dying.
That overshadowed what's happening in Syria.
Or at this point, what has happened.
Yeah. It's just really heartbreaking. Outside of donating to charities that are helping the victims, the only thing that we feel very useless that we can do is just like,
talk about it. Same thing with like the Dakota Access Pipeline. Like just talk about it.
Hashtag it because people are gonna. It's sad. There's actual fucking people that don't know what's going on in Aleppo. They don't know what like fucking Gary Johnson.
By the way, none of that shit was on the news. It was just Kanye West, Donald Trump.
Yeah, and like people like Gary Johnson don't know what Aleppo is. And 5 to 10 years, this is gonna be the next Rwanda. This is gonna be the next like genocidal massacre that we just sat around and watched. So please, like, just talk about it. Keep bringing it up. Keep tweeting it. Keep sharing
that's it.
it.
We'll do
Fill
another
your fucking timeline with it so everyone can know what's going on, man. Yeah. But we will dive into this more
on our next midweek. But thanks again for watching this episode. Next week we have Dumbfounded. He's an amazing
like rapper, battle rapper, talented.
We get into
actor.
him growing up in LA, going to battle rapping in the South Side,
supporting Asian Americans and Korean Americans that are really doing their thing.
Yeah. So the next episode is going to be dope.
Yeah. Do you have anything? Vlogs coming out?
I do have vlogs on my channel coming out. I just did one today about this. Okay. And so yeah, check out my YouTube channel.
My short film is still out there. Watch it. It's called Disregard. It's a short film by Ali Baluch. It will change nothing in your life, but it will affect your feels though.
Here's the thing though, when he was making the movie, he tried so hard.
It's a good film, man.
It's a good movie.
You sure you haven't even watched it?
I've seen it.
No, you haven't.
I've seen it.
I know.
You don't think I've seen it?
I know you haven't.
I saw it and Amjad saw it.
I believe Amjad saw it because he commented.
And then he talked to me about it. You want me to comment? Is that what we're doing?
No, but
I'll write.
You didn't even like it.
I'll write you gay underneath it. I'll write you gay underneath it.
Make sure you add 5 A's at least.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. This has been The Apartment.
Oh, yes. Watch last week's video with
Megan Batoon.
Megan Batoon, and the week before that with Tamra Dia. And last shout out to our producer,
Sumair Khan.
Sumair Khan.
We're going to go eat ramen with him right after this wraps. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.